Hey guys, I'm Trey, and welcome to Carbon Scoring. If it's your first time here, you're in luck. This is where we hang out and talk about action figures and the stories behind them. But today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're down in my secret lounge where I display a lifetime's worth of action figure collecting. But if you're an action figure collector, you know you can't possibly display every action figure that you have. That's how you end up here, in the attic, surrounded by insulation and boxes of unwanted action figures. I'm about to open a box of action figures I haven't looked at in years, and I promise I'll be as surprised as you are at what's inside. Guaranteed, there are figures that neither of us even remember existing. This is part treasure chest, part scavenger hunt, so let's go. All right, guys, we're going to take a peek and look at this one. It's labeled the X-Men box. You can still see it has a bunch of the dirt and even the insulation from being up in the attic. So let's see what we find. Okay, some good-looking stuff in here. Let's start off with Wolverine. So Wolvie comes from the Team Wolverine design when the X-Men were drawn by Jim Lee. They had an adventure, I think, fighting the Shi'ar, where a bunch of the people, Bishop, Gambit, Wolvie, all were in matching uniforms, similar to when the X-Men first came out. Pretty cool figure, decent head sculpt, long claws, good stuff. Aha! Animated Storm from the X-Men animated series, the one that came after the classic animated series. Really nice, clean figure. Limited articulation because of those hips, but certainly good looking figure for sure. Here we go. Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. So this is obviously the Toy Biz version, the one that came out quite a while ago, maybe with the Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave. I know that there's been a lot of desire to have this because we have Wild Child in the most recent line of Age of Apocalypse figures, but it does exist. You can get your hands on him. There he is, Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. Oh, this looks nice. So, okay, so this is the original Wave 2 Magneto body, and you can see it's built off of the Iron Man body. There's Iron Man's shoulders right there. So, you know, add a belt, add the cape, but this has the kind of screaming head sculpt. So I think this was either a variant or one that came out a little bit later with the different head sculpt, but nice colors. Really like the half orbs up at the top of the cape. Good figure. Okay, so this is from that not very popular X-Men Classics lineup. So this is a Rogue figure. I'm actually not sure the era that this one came from. She's got some sweet sunglasses, got the little half jacket. Kind of looks like a 90s, early 2000s look for her. White Storm, clearly. One showing why we needed that retro card back one. I mean, it's not a bad figure. You know, it's got a really pretty good head sculpt there. Has the X's on the shoulders, just like the Jim Lee design. Definitely got the smooth cape. Has the little hole in the back for the flying peg attached at the wrist. Yeah, this is actually a really good figure. I know the Hasbro one is better, but nothing wrong with that. Oh, here we go. Days of Future Past Wolverine. So you can see, yeah, there we go. There's that silver hair. He's got the jacket, the green pants, just like out of the book. Got some curled up claws there, unfortunately, but this is from the classic storyline where Wolverine and the surviving X-Men, Storm and Colossus, send Kitty Pryde back to the past to try to prevent the future that they're all living in, which is dominated by the Sentinels, right at the very end of John Byrne's run on the title. Huh. Okay, so this is the cat-like beast that happened in the early 2000s. That was originally drawn, I believe, by Frank Quitely in he and Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men. Certainly that book had way scaled down, leather-looking uniforms, kind of based off of that first X-Men movie. Very different from what we're seeing here. This is obviously meant to be a toy, something that kids could play with and have fun. But cool head sculpt. One you don't see very often for Beast. Good stuff. Oh, okay. Had to come with a Build-A-Figure part I must have cared about. Uh-oh. I think we see Mojo's boobs. Looks like the top of the Mojo Build-A-Figure. And here is Mojo's base. Look at how much detail went into the sculpting just at the base of this figure, of this Build-A-Figure. So that's actually the bottom. So really supposed to look like, oh, yeah, look at that. Look at the little Mojo heads sculpted in. See, this is why Toy Biz absolutely rules. They did not, you know, their figures weren't always perfect, but man, they tried. Yeah, and then sometimes they look like this. Hey, I'm Apocalypse. I don't know what my body shape is. This is quite the round little Apocalypse guy. But they made up for it with the huge Build-A-Figure. But that's a funky one. I don't know if there's a date on that foot. 2004. So 16 years old. 17. Okay, now this is awesome. Okay, so you have a Beast, right? Here's the Beast. He's got some kind of projectile shooting weapon out of his backpack. Certainly not anything you ever saw in the comics. But check this out. He actually comes with a little laptop because he's our science guy. And so Beast can run into battle and also check his, Yahoo email on his little built into his chest laptop. Oh, that's fantastic. Love it. Okay, so this is Wolverine, obviously. This is the non-masked variant of the very first Wolverine figure. And the way you can tell is because he doesn't have any kind of chest articulation. He's got this pre-sculpted, kind of twisted, pre-posed chest. I think that first Wolverine figure in Marvel Legends was actually being built for another line, and then Marvel Legends happened and they kind of crammed some ball hips onto the chest they already had sculpted. But decent head sculpt. Looks like he's got some fangs going there. And yep, just what I thought. So here's the actual masked version. Again, it has the eyes that are not painted. You can see his eyes through the mask. Odd choice. Thankfully, we've gotten about 700 million Wolverine figures since then. Oh, this is cool. So, Nightcrawler. Looks like a very young version of Nightcrawler. Just that head sculpt almost looks cartoonish and teenish. He's got one big sword. Looks like I've got to find the other sword to go in there. Got the posable tail, bends around. I think that came from that same line that Rogue came from, kind of an alternate design for Nightcrawler. And while I've got it, here is a Wolverine from, I believe, that same roughly time period. This is actually the House of X Wolverine. So House of X was a storyline where the Scarlet Witch basically remade all of reality and everybody was changed. Peter Parker was married to Gwen Stacy and was a successful businessman. Wolverine, his big change was he could remember every single thing in his past. And at that point, Wolvie really had no memories of his past, but he was an agent of like S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. He was in a relationship with Mystique, and he obviously came with a pretty cool rocket pack, but that's a good toy, man. Look at that thing. Cool. Cable. Relatively early Cable. Toy Biz had a tendency to make these sort of slightly smaller, slightly out of scale head sculpts, but it almost goes with that first Wolverine that we looked at that had the X-Men kind of class uniform. Okay. This is Iceman's little snow ride. You can plug his feet in and put his hands in there. I believe this is the Iceman that came with it. So they used this body numerous times on Iceman. I think what's distinctive about this one is the belt, that it has the X belt. But cool looking paint scheme where you get sort of that ice effect. He's sort of partly translucent, partly blue. And even over the years, this paint has held up pretty well. Could probably customize this into a pretty sweet Iceman figure. Might even go along with the new Firestar and Spider-Man for a Spidey and his amazing friends. These came with a ton of figures in the early 80s. They were like stands that you could put into people's backs. All right, this is regular Sabretooth, kind of his modern version. Again, Toy Biz never afraid to give us a dynamic head sculpt, which when you're setting up displays actually really helps because you can, get them crouched down into, a really angry coming at you sort of position. And while we're on Sabretooth, here is from the cartoon. So he's got claws for some reason. He has 4 claws, so that makes him even badder than Wolverine. Action feature does something. Probably doesn't do anything anymore. Yeah, cool. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Longshot. Can't have Mojo without Longshot. So that is the most late 80s Bon Jovi haircut you're ever going to see. The brilliant, brilliant Art Adams designed Longshot. He actually appeared in his own miniseries to begin with before joining the X-Men during the Outback team when they were kind of taken off of the Marvel map and placed in the Australian Outback. Okay, Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine, no hand, big claws, tattooy things on his face. All right. It's X-23, the kind of clone daughter of Wolverine. Got lots of cool... Oh, that's right, because she has claws on her feet. Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. Check this out. See, again, how can you not love Toy Biz when they give us retractable foot claws for X-23? That is just the coolest thing ever. Could have used maybe a little bit more paint app on that head sculpt, but what a cool feature. Totally forgot about that. Cyclops. This was the first Cyclops that came out of Marvel Legends. One thing about Toy Biz, though, they were not afraid to just kind of use parts of other figures, and you can see that this was just a kind of bashed together Cyclops. Had a unique head sculpt, but so much better stuff to come. Okay, all right, so this is the Frank Quitely version of Wolverine. So when Grant Morrison took over right after the first X-Men movie, he tried to kind of reinvent the X-Men's look, try to make them more hip and up to date for the new century, throw in a bunch of leather and kind of generalized badassery. I assume that's what nipples and chest hair is all about, but this is clearly based off of Frank Quitely's designs. If you have enough time to punish yourself, you can read that. Okay, this is again that original Wolverine sculpt, only they've done a little bit of battle damage. He's got a pointing hand here instead of a clawed hand. Maybe even a little bit of a different head sculpt with that sort of side snarl that he has going on. This came obviously with the Phoenix figure. It's a pretty sweet backdrop. May have to break that out and take that down to the secret lounge. Oh, here we go. Yes, Toy Biz's very first Archangel figure. Really, really nice paint on that. Look how good that head looks. Now, they went a little jiggy with the missile launching features there, but, really cool. Archangel wings, really good frame for this figure. Nice shoulders where you can get into some of those pretty killer flying poses with him. That is a good figure. These are wings that are specifically sculpted to be Archangels. It's not like they took Falcon wings or previous Angel wings and made those. That's a brand new sculpt. And they tried to make it a toy, which is okay. Okay, so this must be the variant Age of Apocalypse Wolverine with Deadpool's head. Before you leave comments and say that's not Deadpool, I know that it's not Deadpool. It just looks like Deadpool, so chill. Oh, he does have claws coming out of his stump. It's kind of tough. I dig that. Yep, here it is. Okay, this is Ultimate Universe Wolverine. Absolutely, positively the worst head sculpt that you will ever see on a Wolverine figure. Nothing comes close. That is just... I mean, what is that? That's terrible. Okay. Same figure. Hey, if it's that good, get two. Looks like we got our regular Angel here. This was the standard release with the red costume. He did have a variant release with the blue. I actually like the blue better and have that on display down in the Secret Lounge, but the red one is still certainly very nice. Really good sculpt on that head. Definitely looks like Warren. Good frame. And then these are the wings that came with that Angel. Oh, Domino. Don't ever try to do Van Morrison live again. Big guns, skinny legs, kind of a Domino head. Not really sure, but probably our first shot at Domino. Okay, actually, looks like a variant. I didn't realize that this figure had a variant, but different head sculpt that I definitely like better. That head sculpt's way better than the first one that we looked at. Still has the totally cool removable foot spikes. Has the two claws up here. Yeah, this one's the winner. That's a good figure. Yep. Another one of those. Oh. This is the cartoon Nightcrawler, obviously, or half of him at least. Sorry, buddy. Another one of this. Probably could put that on eBay and do a little damage. Okay, so this is Toy Biz's first attempt at a first appearance Wolverine. You can see the whiskers. The whiskers from Hulk 180, 181. 181 being his first full appearance. Not a lot changed on the rest of this figure. Maybe a little bit of change to the tiger stripe design under his arms, maybe. But it's really all about that head sculpt, just a little bit of a different mask. This came with, I believe, a first appearance Sabretooth figure in the Face Off series that was from like 2006. And then saving the best for last, check this Angel out. So this came from that same X-Men Classics wave that had the crazy Rogue that we looked at, the crazy Nightcrawler that we looked at. These wings, I think, actually maybe flip around. Yeah. So they actually go like that, I think. Really, really great head sculpt. Look at how the eyes even shimmer. He's got cool X feature across the chest. That's all right. That's a good figure. Not bad. Some extra parts. Cerebro. Extra... Oh, looky there! Lockheed. Oh, that's terrific. I'd forgotten all about this. I actually like this Lockheed maybe better than the one that I have down in the Secret Lounge. It looks like I have two of them. Very nice. Very nice couple of Hawkeye's arrows stuck in here. That goes to a Wolverine figure. All right. Not a bad mystery box. Found some stuff.